In this video, we will show how to replace the LED strips in this TCL 65-inch TV. Begin by removing the screws and the back cover off the TV. Before completely removing the back cover, carefully lift it up and then disconnect the cables that are connected to the main board. Remove these two black plastic pieces. Remove the IR sensor. Disconnect the cable on the IR sensor. Remove the screws on the metal covers for the buffer boards. Remove the screws on the TV bezel. There are screws all the way around the entire TV on the bezel. Be sure to remove them all. Disconnect the ribbon cables. Begin by just loosening them, and then remove the metal covers over the buffer boards. Disconnect the ribbon cables. Next, gently release the buffer boards from the tabs. Then use a little tool to help disconnect the grounding tape from the buffer boards. Do this gently as the buffer boards are very fragile. You will want to keep the tape on the chassis as you will use it again when you reinstall the buffer boards into position. Remove the TV bezel. Flip up the buffer boards and tape them to the TV panel. If the TV panel will not release, you can slide a small piece of plastic in between the TV panel and the chassis. Do this very carefully as the panel is very fragile. Lift and remove the TV panel using suction cups. Next, remove the filter frame around the TV. Tape the layers of diffusion in the corners so that they stay in order and together. Lift and remove the layers of diffusion. Remove the screws and these plastic clips. Rather than removing the reflector sheet, we will simply cut out the reflector sheet that is on top of the original LED strips. As you can see, we are just using a razor blade and sliding it along the side of the LED strips to remove the paper that is on top of them. Do this carefully so that you do not cut any wires or connections. Remove the final pieces of paper on the strip, and then using a tool, remove the LED strip from the chassis. Once you get to the end, carefully lift it up and then disconnect the power cable from the LED strip. We recommend using double-sided tape on the chassis to hold the LED strips in place. Align the replacement LED strips and connect them to the cable. Then, align on the chassis and press down firmly to hold the LED strip to the double-sided tape and chassis. Reinstall the screws on the plastic clips to secure them to the chassis. Reinstall the layers of diffusion and remove the tape in the corners. Reinstall the TV bezel. Reinstall the filter frame around the TV. Reinstall the TV panel. Then release the buffer boards remove the tape and release the buffer boards. Reinstall the TV bezel. After aligning the TV bezel into position, install a couple screws to hold the TV bezel together. Carefully push the buffer boards back into position on the tabs. Then you can reinstall the grounding tape on top of the buffer boards. Reconnect the ribbon cables. Reinstall the buffer board covers. Properly align them into position. Also align the plastic pieces and then install them to the chassis with the screws. Also install the screws on the metal covers over the buffer boards. Reinstall the IR sensor and connect the cable to it. Install all the screws around the TV bezel. Reconnect the cables to the main board on the back cover. Slide the back cover into position and install the screws to secure it to the TV chassis.